play one of those three sports? Lacrosse, they're all contact sports. Now, some could argue some of them are a collision sport, but we're going to say our sports are contact sports. Flag football is a contact sport. Now, that contact has to be legal, but it's a contact sport. But not everything's a foul. If I come up and Dylan, why's it doing this, man? What? It's killing me. If Dylan bumps into me, if I keep moving forward in my intended direction, there's no foul. Clearly, there was contact. Dylan bumps into me, and now I can no longer move in the direction I want to go. We can clearly see that's a disruption and is causing us an issue. So this is going to be annoying all night. Study the rules and strive to improve your officiating. Some of you may have worked in our program before. I recognize a couple of faces. Some of you may have not. The one thing you can absolutely control is your rule knowledge. You may never have played football, flag football, or any other sport that you do for us, but you can 100% control the knowledge that you gain. You don't necessarily always control the knowledge you came in with, because most of us aren't going to be, hey, I'm going to go study rules tonight for a sport I may one day officiate. That's not going to happen. But now that you're employed for us, you can absolutely study your rules and improve your officiating. So you need to understand that. That's going to help you. That's the one thing you can prepare for night in and night out. Not the weather, not the style of play, not the quality of play, not the quality of the teammate across from you on the field, but you can always control the quality of teammate you're going to be on the field. We want to enforce our rules, don't legislate. There's nothing worse than as an official, or excuse me, a player, having an official who's just 2 flags, 6 gunning, ready to go out and get someone. We're not looking for trouble as officials. Every single one of us wants to have a quiet shift that starts on time and ends on time. Preferably early, but we still get paid the same amount. That's okay. We know that going into it. So go out and enforce the rules that we have. Don't legislate them. Don't make the game ticky-tacky. It ties into our first one for Call the Obvious. Dress appropriately and professionally. Anytime you put a uniform on, there's an expectation of what comes with that uniform. Whether that is if you go in to a bank, you don't see people dressed like me right now. This isn't what you want when you go sign a mortgage for your house. This isn't what you want your lawyer showing up for if you've got a criminal case. You don't want that to happen. So we need to have the same concept for our officials. We give you most of the uniform that you need. We ask for you to supply a little bit of it. Wear it the right way. Because right, wrong, or indifferent, the moment you start walking to our fields, our players are looking at you and they're judging you. That may not be fair, but that is what it is. So when they see that, if you're the package that they expect to see walking out, proper fitting shorts, proper fitting shirt, it's tucked in. If you're wearing a hat, it's appropriately worn. If you come out looking like you just fell off the vegetable truck, they're going to automatically think that. And it's going to impact every interaction they have with you moving forward. No matter how good you are, they automatically think you're not any good because you came out looking like crap. It's the same thing. A guy could have $1 billion, but if he's dressed like he's homeless, you're not going to go ask him for help. And if we get over that bias and we recognize, I don't know why it's doing that. And if we recognize we have that bias, we can act on it. So let's make sure we take the proper look. Get here on time. There's nothing worse than waiting on your partner, because all of us want to go home early. I mean, none of us are like, I hope we work till 2 today. Doesn't happen. We've all got classes, things we have to do, games we want to get to, opportunities. Get here on time, be ready to go. Be fair and unbiased in your decisions. A rule is a rule. It's not a rule because this person's tall. It's not a rule because this person's fast. It's not a rule because this person's short. We only have the rules to work with. If we apply Call the Obvious and the advantage, disadvantage, this will take care of itself. Just be consistent. You've heard players say that. If you played high school sports, you probably heard your coaches say, just be consistent. Well, oftentimes they are consistent. We just don't like the product that we're getting. We're doing something more than the other team. It's being called on us more. That's consistent. It's just not equal. I don't care about equal. If one team's doing something 10 times wrong, get it those 10 times. That doesn't mean the other team has done it. Be proactive. What we want you to do is anticipate problems. If you see a team that's frustrated, know that they're probably going to play out of control. If you see a team that comes up and says, this is our first game ever, you know there's some things you may have to deal with that you won't from a more experienced team. Be prepared for this, and the rest will help yourselves out. When the ball is dead, we become alive. Sports is a wonderful thing, and if you've watched football, you understand we've got about 7 to 12 seconds of game action and then a whole lot of standing around. Players don't do silly stuff when they're trying to win a game. They do silly stuff when they've got that downtime. When I'm trying to beat him into the end zone to make a catch, I'm focused on beating him. Once I've beaten him, or once he's beaten me, now's the time I let him know about it. This is what we have to manage. This is important for us. This is the interaction that causes us the most problems. And the last one is anticipate the play, not the call, or not the next, sorry, the next last one. I want you to see the whole play. There's going to be plays that you take off. It's night like tonight. It's not that cold, but it's a little chilly outside. Maybe you had 2 midterms today, or 2 tests today, or your girlfriend broke up with you, or maybe she wants to get back with you, or whatever. Those are things going to have to happen. But you've got to be able to focus on the game. I want you to see the whole play. Look at what you're supposed to look at, and the game will slow down and be pretty smooth for you. Will you scroll up for me? Oh, I'm just kidding. Number 11 for me on this list is be coachable. This is one of the few areas of your life where you're going to expect it to be perfect day one and get better from that moment. Flat out tell you right now, you cannot miss a call. The teams will let you know about it. So you've got to be coachable. You've got to understand that you're going to fail. You're going to mess up. You're going to make a mistake. We have an outstanding team put in place to support you. You have to be able to receive that. If you hang your head and you tuck tail and you're not willing to be this, we can't help you. The entire premise of our program is sports officials development. The key word is development, and that happens for someone who's at the station of life I'm in as an official, as Dylan, as Danny, as Ruben, as any of you. And that development will change based on the needs of the individual we're talking to. We will make sure we're in a coachable atmosphere. We've got to make sure you're able to receive it. So the last thing I want to put on this thing for you is your tip. So I've given you what I think are 11 critical things. That's great. That's my thoughts. I think these cover everyone. But ultimately, when you get done with your training at the end of the last night, I want you to write your tip that you're leaving for the next group of people that come in here. Don't just put what he said. Don't write that down. Come up with your own. Find something that resonates with you that made you a better official. And then put it on this list and then let Danny or Dylan know what it is. Because we may end up building it. And that's how this list started. This list originally had like 4 or 5 things, but students who have gone through this program have helped us get better. This is going to be a long night for my presentation. So I appreciate your feedback. It's going to be important. So that being said, we're about to cover a lot of ground relatively quickly. You will get these materials, these PowerPoints. You be my slide guy?
Yes, I do.
Shut the front door. So we're going to go through these slides, not quickly as in to skip them. There's a lot of content. I'm going to try to make this as simplistic as we can within that. So before we get into the slides, there's a few things I want you to know about penalty enforcement. Oh, no laser pointer? When we have a penalty in our game, have any of you never watched a football game on TV? Okay, good. So when a foul happens in an NFL game, the camera goes to who? Everybody in the stadium does the exact same thing. Whether there's 7 people watching your game or 75,000 watching somebody on Sunday or Saturday, every single eye goes to the officials when we have a penalty. Go ahead and understand that is uncomfortable. Most of us don't walk through campus going, look at me today. It just doesn't happen. Well, it's going to happen when you clock in to work our games. It's not bad unless you make it so. Get comfortable understanding that people are going to look to you. So when we have this penalty, everyone's looking at us. The natural inclination for us is, I want to get this over with. So you try to speed the process up. Don't. I want you to slow down. 2 reasons. 1, the clock's running, which is good. Slow down. It takes an infinite amount of time to get it right once we've messed it up than do it right the first time. When I used to cut my grass back home, if I went fast, I kept having to go back and do it, and that kept frustrating me. Get it right the first time and you'll be in good shape. Slow down. Take the time to talk to each other. So make sure we understand what that individual is trying to tell us. If Dylan comes to report a penalty to me and he says he grabbed him, I need to take the time. Who? The defensive player. You have defensive holding. Yes. You have defensive holding before the pass. No, he grabbed him when the ball was in the air. Now we have a different penalty. Nothing changes from the yardage, which we'll talk about in a bit, but it changes from what we tell a player. If we tell someone something they didn't do, what's the first thing they're going to yell at you? I didn't do that. I mean, I interfered with him, but I didn't hold him. Well, yeah, you know what I mean. We've lost credibility there. All because we didn't take the time to ask the correct question. Same concept if we don't ask who. We just make an assumption because we didn't see the whole play, like we talked about a few minutes ago. Oh, that's on the offense. No, it's on the defense. And you're frustrated. Take that time, slow down, let's have that conversation with each other. Work together. There's going to be two of you on the field. There is nothing more lonely than when you need help from your partner and you don't get it. When you look to them across the field, and I look at Matt, and I'm looking for him, and I need help, and Matt just goes, all right, look, work together. Even if you don't have something to add, if your partner needs you, jog in. Hey, what do you got? And he's going to say, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know either. Holding. Have that moment to talk. Don't make sure we have something, but go talk to him. If he's the deer in the headlights, do we have any females working the sport? So if he's the deer in the headlights, go help him out. Hey, that was a great hold. That's going to help him snap back and go, oh yeah, holding's what I had. Just helps us reset that mechanism. So be a good partner. It goes to that be coachable moment for us. We want to make sure we're a good partner. 3 steps to having a penalty. We need to see it happen. We need to confirm it. We need to throw the flag. And it's that simple. For me, it's a conversation in my head. Ooh, that looks like a hold. It was. Throw the flag. Maybe 3 seconds. That's not a long time, except when you're asking yourself those questions, it feels like you're just trying to pedal through pudding. It feels like it takes forever. But ask yourself that. Ooh, that's a hold. I don't think so, he got away. We have nothing. We've just explained to ourselves a foul or explained to ourselves what we didn't have. Now, that's my mechanism. But you need to see it, confirm it, throw it. If you're not sure, it probably didn't happen. If you're not sure you want to talk about it, throw it, be a good partner. I think I had pass interference. He didn't throw the ball. We can't have that. A key part of pass interference is the first word. It's pass. We have to have one of those. If we didn't, we can't have it. We may have something else, but it helps us work together to reset that mechanism. Keep officiating. If you watch college basketball or the NBA, they blow the whistle and they stop. That is not football. Soccer, they oftentimes give a signal and keep going. We want to have that same concept. We want to see it and then keep going. There's nothing worse than poof, and you're like a puppy who just brought the tennis ball up. You're like, it's right here, I got it. And then you look down the field and Danny may or may not have scored a touchdown. So we want to keep officiating. We can always, that's the beauty of it. It's a bright yellow marker on a green field. It stands out. Again, everyone's already looking at you. You don't, oh, I didn't do that. Come back to it, but keep officiating. Keep moving down the field. And the last one, how would you describe making or not making the call? So one thing we'll do with the crews that I work with is how do we explain to a coach why we did or why we did not make that call? And if we struggle figuring out one of those answers, we need to go the other way. So an example will be, why didn't you call that unsportsmanlike conduct? It was a quick act common to the game. Simple. Why did you flag that for unsportsmanlike conduct? He pulled a cell phone out from behind the goalpost pad and called his mom. That sounds like a foul. The first one doesn't. He pointed to the sky. I think most of us agree that's not a foul. He pointed to his face. Both things are him pointing in a direction. We can agree with that. Huge difference in this and this. One looks like a foul. That's what we want you to do as officials. This is the big thing. This is a conversation. You know, hey, God knows you scored. You don't need to point at him. He's got that figured out. I mean, if he's what we think he is, he knows you scored a touchdown. He doesn't need the dap. You can give that to him later on down in your life. He also knows you scored on him, and he certainly doesn't need to know about it. Because God's not going to do something to you for this. He's not going to, like, hit thunder and say, nice work. He's going to shove me in the chest. So we want to make sure we get that done. So here's some basic penalties for us. We have 2 types of fouls. Oh God, my PDF went away. So we have 2 types of fouls. So this flow chart is in a PowerPoint you'll get. We have what's known as a live ball, and we have a dead ball. Live ball is exactly what it sounds like. The play is alive. It's happening. Things are going on. Dead, it's dead. It's over with. It's done. So we have 2 types of action we have to be able to look at. The first one we're going to focus on is dead ball. Will you bring that PowerPoint back up? Live ball fouls. The majority of what we deal with are these fouls. If we have 10 fouls in a game, 8 of them are going to be live ball. So this is the basics for us. So the number one we're going to have within our game is flag guarding. The object of this game is to remove your opponent's flags. Your opponent doesn't want you to do that. There's nothing they can legally do with their hands to prevent that. So if I try to pull my flag, that's a foul. Try to pull my flag, that's a foul. Try to pull my flag, that's a foul. Because I did what to him? What? I made contact while he was trying to do what? Pull my flag. My God, this is the simplest thing we have in the world. He tries to pull my flag. Did I flag guard? No. I mean, I tried. I'm terrible at it, but I didn't do anything. No advantage. This is the number one thing we have. How many of you, has anyone in here never run? So we all know when we run, our arms do what? Move, right? Where are the flag belts on us? So our natural running motion is flag guarding. They've got to get that out of the way. I'm not telling them that's a foul. The rule book says that's a foul. The whole premise of the game says that's a foul. So again, if we have 10 calls a game, this is 6 of them right here. Get this right, and you're 60% of the way home. So if we have this, it's a flag. Contact has to happen. If you're not sure if there was contact, I will tell you flag it. The onus is on me to make legal things as a runner. The defender can't initiate that contact. No defender says, I'm going to go get really close to him so he can slap my hand. No defender says that. But the offensive player is wanting to score. They're wanting to advance the ball. They're going to try to do everything they can to prevent the defense from pulling that flag. Well, I didn't touch him. I thought you did. Well, you missed it. Don't drop your arms next time. Think about it. How can we describe making or not making that call? Did the offensive player drop his arms towards the defender? Yes. Did he make contact? I'm not sure, Coach. So you're not sure if he didn't? Well, I'm not sure. It's a lot easier to say, drop your arm, made contact. I didn't get him. You did from my angle. That's a heck of a lot easier to explain than, well, I know you were close, but the angle he was moving and the angle you were moving, there was just no way you got there. What? That's not going to work for us. Illegal contact, these are 2 more of the penalties that you're going to have. So now we're already up to 8 of the 10 calls that we have to make in our game. So illegal contact, it's illegal contact that gives a player an advantage. It's pushing someone, contacting a player without the ball, or swatting the ball out of their hands. So this is, I'm trying to play defense, and I bump into this player. I take him off the direction he wants to go. That sounds like a foul, doesn't it? You wanted to go straight, I made you go left. Well, that's good defense. Not in our game, it's not. He wanted to go upfield, I made him change his area. With contact. That sounds like a foul. Let's flag it and we'll be in good shape. Well, he pushed him off his route. Does that sound like a foul? Because you did what to him? He did what? He pushed him. Yeah, there's no explanation needed. All you've got to do is go to that defensive player and say, hey, you pushed him. Well, I didn't push him that hard. You don't have to push someone that hard when they're running full speed to make them move. No, it just is what it is. So we're already up to 80% of the calls that we have to make, and we're 15 minutes into actually talking about penalties. And we've got a good description of them. We know what flag guarding is, and we know what illegal contact is. Most of your illegal contact penalties are going to be on your defensive players. Just the way it is. They're reacting to something. The 2 things for pass interference, these don't really happen much in our game. 4-on-4 flag football is a very spacious game. You've seen the field that we're out on. There's a lot of space for our players to move. So there's a lot of opportunity. There's going to be a lot of air between the players. I lump this in with illegal contact for the purposes of my presentation. 1, it helps my math work out to stay with 10 fouls. So these are part of those fouls that we have. But remember, we've got to have a pass interference, or excuse me, we have to have a pass for these 2 to occur. The big one for the offense, these restrictions for me start when the ball is snapped. Now every play has to be a pass in 4-on-4. So we've got to have this. So if I go up and I shove this player and then go catch the ball, that's pass interference. Pretty simple. If I go and set a block and move through this person, if we played basketball, it's like a moving screen. Now we have offensive pass interference on me. The defensive pass interference, the ball has to be in the air. Ball's in the air, I grab his wrist. So Odell Beckham Jr. loves to go up and make one-handed catches because it looks good on television. But the majority of football players try to use 2 hands to catch the football. It is infinitely easier to use two hands than one. So if a receiver goes up with one hand, odds are they're being held. Especially if this defensive player is right here. Because otherwise, I'd go with me. Otherwise, I'd go up and try to catch the ball like this, right? So just watch that visual cue. It doesn't take much. If their hand goes up, got him. Simple. Simple. It's easy to explain. Coach, he held his hand, or captain, or what? Sorry, I'm used to dealing with coaches. He grabbed his hand. Simple. Well, there's nowhere they can go with it. Well, he didn't grab him that much. Which one of those sounds like a weak thing? Obviously, the second one. These are all kind of, you don't have to worry about them very much, but holding is grabbing someone. Where you'll see this a lot of the times is if a defensive player is standing at the top of a route and that offensive player is coming toward me, I grab him because I'm beat. He's faster than me. I'm old. I'm playing with Twigger this year. I'm going to grab some people. So he's going to, not really. So I'm going to grab onto him. Now I haven't had a pass yet, right? So this goes back to my illegal contact. I can't do that. Okay, I can't hold him and keep him from where he's going. It all sounds like a foul. And where these are great is I'm good, and then he beats me and I reach. This is not a defensive move. This is not part of football. This looks weird. It will stand out. Most of the time they're also going kind of down to the ground when they do it as well. If I'm running and my shirt's out behind me, that is not natural. Something has happened. So these are all visual cues we can find to be able to make these calls in our game. Illegal forward pass, this is probably maybe one call a night, is throwing the ball forward beyond the line of scrimmage. So we're beyond the line of scrimmage, we've already completed one pass, and then I throw it forward again. That's illegal. That's illegal. You don't see that very much, but it does happen. And then failure to wear equipment is we need to make sure we start every play properly. So every single play, we're going to count 4 players on the offense, and we're going to count 4 players on the defense. But we're not going to count the players. We're going to count their flag belts. Because I don't care how many people are out there, I care how many flag belts are. So if I count 4 flags, those are on a person, I've got 4 people. So we should be able to prevent this from ever happening. But these are all live ball penalties. We have to have the ball in play for these to be able to take place. You pull up PowerPoint number 2. So we've talked about this. All fouls are either dead ball or live ball. Dead ball happens after the ball becomes dead and before a snap. So I score a touchdown, whee, I'm super excited. Everything that happens from that moment until I snap the ball again is dead ball. I throw a pass to Twigger, and for some reason he drops it. So clearly this wouldn't happen, Matt. I just need it for the example. Everything from when that ball is dropped until we snap it again is dead ball. That is an infinitely longer period of time than the 3 seconds it took me to throw the ball to Matt. Because we have how many seconds to throw the ball? 5. How long is 5 seconds? It's 5 seconds. That's what I was hoping for there. But yeah, look, if you haven't gone home and counted in the mirror to 5 yet, go home tonight, count in the mirror to 5, pull up your smartphone, set the stopwatch to 5, don't look at it, and then count. And see how close you are. You're like, I can count to 5. I've been doing that since I was 6. Doesn't mean you were counting to 5 seconds. Those things are not the same. So don't do this whole 1 Mississippi or 1 California or anything like that. Count to 5. You've all got a smartphone or some capability to do stopwatch. Count it. It's 5 seconds. This is about 3, 4, 5. That's a long time. Get used to it. We should all be able to do it. It's a team expectation for us. The big dead ball fouls that we have to have, these will be probably the other one call that we're going to have per game, is false start. You're going to see this a ton. I'm excited to go, I'm ready, and I go before I snap. Doesn't matter how much I go. If this is where I'm supposed to be, that's a foul. Don't let them step back, because everybody on the defense is going to stand up and go, ooh, ooh. Then I snap the ball. Am I ready to play defense? No. He runs right by me, catches a touchdown. Whose fault is that? The officials. Yeah, clearly I did something wrong. Flag me. I'm asking you to do it. There's no subjectivity. This is it raining today? No. Is it wet outside? Okay, get this one. It isn't hard. If they move before the snap, forward, we got a problem. They false started. Keep it simple. Well, he didn't move that much. You're talking yourself into a problem. You're talking yourself into a problem. Encroachment is when they line up. So we've got the orange ball spotter and the yellow ball spotter that we've worked with. This is the orange ball spotter. That table's the yellow. I should not be here. This is a problem. What are you going to tell me to do if I'm right here? Back up. Or the other direction. If I don't, throw your flag. Don't let the play happen. Shut it down. Delay a game is if they take longer than 25 seconds to snap it. So our back judge, you can count to 25, we give you a clock, we do the math for you. If that thing starts beeping, throw the flag. There's nothing worse than beep, 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 snap. We can't overcome that. So make sure we get it. And then illegal snap, you don't very see much. That's where they'll take it and they'll snap it from just in the middle of the air. That's not how football works. They have to snap it from the ground. So they'll get up and they're like, all right, you ready to go? Just help them out. Hey, on the ground, big guy. Oh. And they'll fix it for us. And then this is the 10th foul that we're going to have, is unsportsmanlike conduct foul. These are all behavioral. Everything we've talked to up to this point is action-based. I did something wrong. I took a purposeful action physically and something went down. Unsportsmanlike, so these are the sticks and the stones, these are the words that we'll talk about in more detail. But that's essentially the 10 fouls a game that we're going to have. The most of them are contact and a little pass interference. We have some people who false start, we may have an illegal forward pass, and then we have this last one. So you've already learned everything you need to know about the types of fouls that we're going to have. It's not why the presentation just stopped. There we go. So you've already got that basic information for us. We've talked about live balls, so we're in good shape for that. The important thing for us, if we have a dead ball foul, so now we're going to start moving into how we're going to get these things done. We're enforcing now, not legislating, we're enforcing. We're going to blow our whistle, because blowing a whistle makes everybody do what? It's a 4-letter word. Stop. Then we're going to throw the flag. So those we just talked about, I false start, I line up wrong, I take too long to snap the ball. All those are going to be flag in the air. You are not launching this flag to the moon. I know you've already done your flag station, right? Okay, so when you do your flag station, I don't want you to get down there and just see how high you can toss that beast. I can tell you what, no player cares how well you throw the flag. None of them are going to go, man, that was a really good delay of game foul. We did do that wrong. Just blow your whistle, put the flag down, and go up and communicate what you have to your players. So you want to make sure these foul prevent it. Now keep in mind, these may happen while the players are moving. So I false start, they snap the ball, you're not going to be that fast, that's okay. So it's not just going to be for the whistle. It needs to be shower down. Several blasts of the whistle, throw the flag, feel free, hey, bring it on back, let's go. You know, it's not a problem. Interact with them a little bit. But just because they take off running, you still got to do this. Because if I false start, and you're like, oh, it's too late now. The heck it is. Blow that dadgum whistle and throw your flag. I would rather you do this wrong and stop the play than let a play go on. How many NFL fans do we have in here? All right, there was about 4 plays this year in the NFL the officials didn't shut down that resulted in touchdowns. 2 of them happened for the Chargers. One dude got fired for it. The NFL does not want to fire its officials because that's a news story. They fired this cat mid-season. Like they couldn't even hide it. They were like, nah, man, that guy's got to go. Because he didn't shut the play down. And that Chargers right tackle was like 7 steps into a drop on a touchdown pass. I think it was the Chargers and the Steelers. Yeah. Look, I mean, it wasn't like, ooh, that guy. My mom was upset about it, and she doesn't care about the Chargers or the Steelers. But she was like, Zachary, that's terrible. I'm like, yes, Mom, it's not good. So we want to make sure we get it. Blow your whistle, throw the flag high into the air. And then go talk to your referee, which we'll talk about in a bit. Once you've thrown the flag, you have to determine what you're going to do. So now let's talk a little bit more about the enforcement. We talked about the 10 plays that we've made. We've done a little bit of that. We're going to talk about it. So these are dead ball fouls for us. We've got these acronyms for us to happen. Don't get caught up on the vernacular just yet. I just want you to have this. We use terms like succeeding spot. That is exactly what the word sounds like. It's next. Where's the ball next going to be snapped? So think next when you see the word succeeding. Previous, I don't really have another word for that. It's exactly what it sounds like. It's the previous place. Where were you? Where'd you just come from? If you've moved, it's your previous address. If it's your class, it's the previous class you had. There's nothing else I can work with for you on there. So we've got to be ready to go for that. Moving into our live ball penalties. So we've talked a little bit about dead ball. That's pretty simple. But now we have to understand we have a live ball, which is the majority of our game action, is going to be defined in this first category. It's when the ball is loose. It's a passing-based game. So if I'm passing the ball, it's not in my hand, right? It's loose. That's what we're looking for here. Ball's in the air, ball's loose. Most of our game action is going to be when that ball's in the air, so it's loose. And it's any action that comes before a pass. The example we want, I take the snap, I run around, I'm looking for someone to throw to. All of that is part of this loose ball. I throw it to Dylan, Dylan does something with it, we move into our next phase, which is him running with the football. So every single play that works out the way the offensive wants it to is going to start out as a loose ball play, transition into a running play. So kind of get your minds wrapped around that. So start thinking about this when we get into penalty enforcement is, where was the ball? Or some guys say, what was the ball doing? Or what was the status of the ball? I think that last one's a little too scientific, so I ask, where was the ball? Was the ball loose or was he running? Helps me out. Where was the ball? It was in the quarterback's hand. I automatically know, because if it's in the quarterback's hand, then he threw it, it goes back to where that spot was. We have a loose ball play. And I think that's the way most of us talk in common things as officials. As you advance, you'll use different words. But for right now, none of us are going to come out and say, well, the preceding action prior to the pass was when the foul occurred. Most of you are going to go, what? No one talks like that. I mean, one guy does, but he's not going to be on the field with you. They're going to say, well, where was the ball? Quarterback was running around with it. Great. I wish I wasn't being filmed. That's bar talk. That's how I'm talking to my friends down at the bar. I'm not talking to a group of officials in a presentation room with people who've been doing this for 15 to 20 years. So I want to make sure that we use that right language. And then running play is exactly what it sounds like. It's defined as any action not classified as a loose ball play. If somebody's got it in their hands and they're running after a pass, what are they doing with the ball? Running. So those are the two types of plays that we've got. Where do we enforce these from? It's by and large, it's very simple. If the ball's loose, we're going to the previous spot. So if we have defensive pass interference, we know that what has to happen for that to occur. Have to have a pass. What's one other thing we talked about? Got to have, it's a C word. Got to have contact. So for that to happen, the ball's got to be loose. So all of our defensive pass interference, we're going to go back to our previous spot. All of those holds by the defense that come before I throw the ball go back to the previous spot where we last snapped it. Any of those contact fouls where I bump the receiver off his route, then the ball gets thrown. Previous spot. I go up and shove him 2 hands in the chest, then go catch the pass. Previous spot. So those were the orange and yellow, or yellow and orange, depending on which order you want to put it in from a ball spotter perspective. Running play, it's the end of the run. If I'm running with the ball, he grabs me, stops me here, I'm able to keep going. We've got a flag back there, but I still gain some yardage. I'm going to get to go from this spot. Okay, he tried to stop me, but I'm a beast. He can't do it. So the foul's back there, but you're going to let me get these yards plus a little extra. So this is where we're enforcing this. All right, good. So, this could end in the end zone. So just keep in mind, where'd the run end? That's where we're going to go. It could be a touchdown. It could be out of bounds. This thing is possessed. It's me. It's all my fault. So, kind of think through yourself. There's only 2 places we can put these. Previous or end of the run, which could be some other terminology for us in a bit. But just simplify it. Was it during or before the pass? Yes. We're going back here. Was it after the pass or during the run? We still may have a little bit of both to have to do, but talk yourselves through that. When you get together, have that conversation with your partner. What was happening? Ball was in the air and he shoved him. Great. What was happening? He was running and got held. We can use this common language and be in good shape. This is a time continuum. I know some people are graphical, so I hope this helps. So we have a snap. Everything that happens until that pass is caught is loose ball. So this is that preceding action. After it's caught, we have running. Here, and of course we don't really have quarterback runs in our game, just bear with me, but if I don't have a pass, I can only have what type of play? Run. Not rocket science, but when you're out there, it's like, oh God, what just happened? Just ask you, did I have a pass? No. None of the other stuff matters. Did I have a pass? Yes. Then we'll go back, and that flow chart that we saw a little bit ago will come into play. So here's an example of it. So the fields, just bear with me. This is high dollar animation. I appreciate your student fees at work. So we've got the snap. I'm running around. Whee! I'm running around. I throw the ball. All that is loose. Oh, sorry. So all that action. Took the snap. I'm running around. I'm excited. I throw the ball. Everything in this time period is under that loose ball play. Here's a running play. So that snap, if the ball is snapped, it's in the air, so it's what? Loose. Yeah, it makes physics. It helps. It's nice. And then everything else is a running play. Because again, we didn't have a what on this play? Didn't have a pass. Now again, 4-on-4, it won't look quite like this. Bear with me. I just didn't want to redo an entire presentation. Okay, we've got to have a pass to advance the ball in 4-on-4. So 95% of your plays are passing plays. The other 5 are I don't throw the ball in time, and you shut it down. Would you what? Yeah, so, but ultimately this is what we want you to envision. So this doesn't happen all that much. It happens after the catch. So you can have a couple different types of plays. We've talked about this already. So here's an example. I'm going to take the snap. I'm going to run around, throw it. Good. Then I run. So I had a loose ball. I'm looking. There's Dylan, still loose. Dylan catches it. He's a jitterbug out there. He does some stuff with it. So we can have those types of things. This is where that conversation happens. So I'm going to come up to Dylan and say, Dylan, where was the status of the ball? And he's going to answer me in some capacity. Dylan, where was the football? Quarterback still had it. Great. If we know how the play ended, we now know where that ball is. How did the play? We may have to ask, Roshan, how'd the play end? He threw the ball to a guy and he scored a touchdown. Now I know I have both of these types of things. So it just kind of takes some asking some questions. Use your teammates. There's not that many of us, so we should know our names. Hopefully we've gotten to that part. So make sure you use your teammates in those regards. The 4 things we need to know when we get together and talk. What was the foul? What did he do? What did she do? Don't worry about the technical stuff. Keep it simple. She held him. Okay, great. So we may have something. She held. She shoved. She tripped him. She slammed him down. Hopefully we don't have one of those. She tried to grab him but missed. Now we should have a different set of clues going into our minds about what may or may not have happened. Who was the foul on? It's on offense or defense. I'll tell you, don't use colors because you'll mess that up. Blue, no, green, no, yellow. You could be colorblind and you can't see colors. Who knows? So use offense and defense. Makes it simple. All of us can use that term from a football vernacular. Offense or defense? When did the foul occur? It's what we've talked the last 17 minutes about. Loose ball or running play? Live ball or dead ball? Got to be able to talk about it. And then where's the enforcement spot? If we know that all loose balls are enforced from the what? We just talked about it. What's that? Previous spot. All running plays are from the end of the run. We got to know this. Night 1 or night 100, that answer is going to be the same for football officials. So if you didn't know it 27 minutes ago, you do now. We should all be able to recite that. Because that's not the nuance. That just is. That is a fundamental truth. Math is hard. Duke sucks. And loose balls go previous spot. Those are fundamental truths in this world for me. Sorry if you're a Duke fan. No, nothing personal. Who? My hatred to Duke goes back to 1993. It's a long and simmering. So we've got to be able to answer these 4 W's. I'm under no illusions. What's your name? Jake. Jake's not going to walk out and say, hey, Zach, what are your 4 W's? I mean, he's not going to ask me that. No one talks like that. But when you get back into it, ask yourself that question. All right, what did they do? Oh, who did it? When was it? Where are we going to put this? Kind of slow down and put yourself into that device so you can ask it. It will simplify the process for you. Even if you make that into common terminology. held, shoved, pushed, tripped, whatever it may have been. I'm not worried about the technical term for it. Let's use common language to make sure we get this done without any problems. So we talked about type of foul, offense, defense, dead ball, previous spot, into the run. The only other thing we have, I'm going to throw an exception to you, is we talked earlier about running plays, having this exception. So if I'm running and he tries to flag guard me, we all know that's a problem, right? So we're going to have a flag on the deck. So I've now cheated. Let's call it what it is. I didn't break a rule. I didn't do something wrong. I cheated. And then I run and I end up in the end zone. Does anybody think that I should score a touchdown? What'd I do? Cheated, right? So you're not going to let me get what I cheated for. You're going to make me go back to the last thing that I actually earned. If I overpay you and your paycheck comes out to be $1 million, that's awesome. I'm going to get that money back. But you get to keep what you earned. You don't get to keep the extra. It's not your fault. I mean, this time it is. But I'm going to get that money back. So we're going to take that person's money back to the last thing that they earned. This is referred to fancily as the all but one. The more common parlance for us is stiff the offense. I'm good, I'm good, I'm good. I'm no longer good. Now I get to keep going. We're going to bring me back to where I did something wrong. So the way for it is, it's loose ball, it's still the previous spot. So if I throw that pass, Dylan shoves someone out of the way, then catches it. The last place I didn't cheat was the where? Previous spot. I mean, we go back to the previous spot, close, previous spot. Okay? That's the only place we can put it. I catch the ball and then just bulldoze someone to the ground because you can't stop the train. I get all that extra yards, except once I fouled. So now I'm going back to the end of the spot of that. So here's this flow chart for us. So keep it simple. I didn't like the way that read, so we skipped it. All right, so loose ball play. So most of our plays are this. We've already talked about that. We know that the basic spot is the previous spot. That's what we've already established. The last tenet for us is what we just talked about. Was it a foul by Team A behind that? Now we're never really going to have these in 4-on-4, so it's good. So Team A is not going to do anything behind the orange ball spot. I mean, the quarterback can't flag guard because there's no one back there with him. We don't allow a pass rush, so I can't illegally block my man behind that. So I'm back here all by my lonesome, listening for someone to count to 5. Then I'm going to put the ball downfield. So if we have that flag guarding, so now I flag guarded here, and I get pulled here. My flag gets pulled here. Is that foul behind this spot? I think we can all agree that it is, right? Foul happened there, I'm up here, it's clearly behind. That's where we're going to enforce it. I foul him here. I'm sorry to slap your hand so many times. It's just not taking it out on you. And then I'm like, oh no, there's a really good player over there. And I go backwards because I don't understand how to play football. And I get my flag pulled right here. Am I in front of or behind the spot of the foul? I'm behind. You're going to penalize me from here. If I'm willing to give up more yards, I mean, that's on me. I still cheated. You're still holding me accountable. You're just holding me accountable from back here. Make sense? I gain, you bring me back. I decide to lose it, shouldn't have happened. This is why we stiff the offense. So just ask yourself this question. What type of play was it? We'll answer that. Where was it? Right here. Where did he end up? Back there. Keep on pulling me back. It's not a, this really is annoying.
It's a signal.
It's the signal. So, now the other one for us is running play. If it's a running play, the basic spot is the end of the run. We ask ourselves the same question, which is this flag guarding example we gave, and we'll be able to do it. If we talk ourselves through this, because if you want to print this flow chart, it comes out nicely on an index card. I've yet to see a staff member really ever do this. Don't do it like on an 8.5 by 11. The teams will see you, and they're like, what's my man doing over there? Oh, just working on some penalty enforcement. But just ask yourself these types of things. What did he do and where did he do it? Again, let's think common language, and we'll be able to work through together. The good thing is, I may not know the answer, but my partner does, or my partner does, or my partner does. But if we at least use this common language together, I now know what you're asking. I'm married. There's times my wife asks me stuff and I don't know what she means. I have to ask her. Because otherwise I'm going to answer the wrong question. I heard Cardi B's thing the other day during the Super Bowl, and I had no idea what that was. I asked her if there was a pigeon in the house. And then she's like, oh, no, that's Cardi B. And I was like, Google. I had to figure it out. So I didn't know that. But if I tried to have that language talk, are you laughing at me? What, man?
Man, you are so old.
It's some real talk, bud. And I'm not as...
Google the Cardi B.
It's pretty... Who was it? The ninja from Fortnite. Yeah. So, another time, another story. So let's make sure we use some common things. It is really this simple. It's a 4-step process. And this is the exact same for the NFL, to NCAA, to high school, to whatever it is we're about to see out there. There's no difference in this. They may use some different language, obviously. If you watch any of the AAF, the football that they're showing now on Saturdays, the language is the same. It's done a little different. It's spoken slightly different. They're fluent in that language. We're learning this language. I can figure it out if I go south of the border. I can say a few words. By no means can I speak Spanish. But there is some common language we can work to get to a common destination. But by no means am I going to have that conversation with an expert. So our foundation starts now. So we want to get off on that. We've got to have our 4 W's. We've got to know the who, the what, the when, and the where. That's going to be the ball status. And we have 2 types of ball status. What are they?
Loose ball.
Well, okay, loose ball and running play. So then we have 2 types of plays that are going to have to come before that. They are what types of plays? Live ball and dead ball. Okay, we can't have a loose ball, dead ball because there's nothing happening. We know that. So if we've got live ball, we've established it's a live ball, it's either loose or running. It's the only 2 things it can be. If it's a dead ball, it's dead. So we can shut down some of this if we just start out from a place of strength when we're having this conversation with one another. So take 5 minutes, run to the restroom, stretch your legs, go outside, meaty. So we're going to send you this. Look, do me a favor. I need you to go back and take a look at it. Because where this matters is when your game hits. 88% of our penalties are going to be smooth and easy. They're going to be real basic. It's me slapping my man's hand for the 77th time. But there's going to be occasionally, and we're going to talk about a few of these, this is where it gets us into trouble. And there's diagrams that I'll walk through. What we want to make sure we understand is our game is built on downs and advancing the ball to a zone line. So we have 3 downs to go to the next zone line. It doesn't matter how many yards we have. The yards are irrelevant. Okay, because it could be 1 yard, it could be 15. We don't know that on a normal play. It doesn't matter what the team does. But the zone line, we're trying to get to the 20 to the goal line, to the 20 to the goal line. Those are our 2 zone lines we're always reaching for. So whenever we have a penalty, we want to mark the yardage off of the penalty and then establish our line to gain. So we'll show you this on a bit of a demographic. But here's an example. The leading edge of this table is where I'm trying to go. This is my zone line to gain. And I'm going to flag guard someone new this time. I flag guarded. We know we have a foul right here, right? During what type of play? Live ball, and it's a good, okay? Live ball running play, foul's back there. And then I get up here, and then my flag, he pulls my flag. Well, I'm clearly beyond the zone line to gain, right? But I did what way back there? I cheated. So you're going to mark the penalty off from back there, and then establish my zone line to gain. Am I going to snap the ball from that point if you made me go backwards? Yes or no? Am I going to snap from up there if you made me go backwards? I'm asking you. What? Good, you got teammates. Ask your teammates. The answer is no. Good. All right, look, eyes up. So now we're going to say that I have to, so I didn't get here, so that's still my goal. So that's where I have to go still. It's not where I ended up, it's where I have to go next. Sean? So we're going to enforce the penalty and then say where I need to go. You're not going to make me go all the way up there. You're not going to double penalize me. So he here, did he get the first down? No. Walk it back. Take a few steps. And all of our penalties, have you gone over distances yet?
No.
Okay. All of our penalties are either 3 yards or 5. They are not crushing. It's pretty simple. 3 yards is about 3 steps. 5 yards, funny enough, is also about 5 steps. All right? Don't go 3 yards and say, that's 5. No, bad math. Right? Just take a stride. And he'll show you this on the station work. We've got some markers you can kind of get a feel for what those look like. If we have a dead ball foul after the ready for play, So I come out, first down. And then Sean's like, you're terrible. All right, we're going to flag him for that. All right, that's fine. When I have blown my whistle, I've already said that's the next place for me to go. So once he decides to be a hooligan, I still have to get there, even if you back me up further. So the example would be, if we already talked about it, if this is our 20-yard line, and I'm already past it. I'm like, yay, first down, everybody loves me. And then Sean, you're terrible, and we flag me. All right, and we come backwards. I still have to go up there. Because we've already said that's where I'm supposed to be. Now something's happened to push me back here. Oh, come on. All right, so here's an example of it for us. Yes?
That's a dead ball, so that's a loss of down too, right?
No.
So we replay that down?
Down hasn't happened yet. We haven't had a snap.
I thought you said flag. Okay.
All right, so here's what this looks like. So, and just, again, this is built for a full football field. Just don't worry about the numbers. Just know we're here, and we're trying to get here. So this is where I have to go. This is my zone line. So if I drop back, some things happen. Wow. Throw the flag. Now, we can agree that I've crossed this line, right? And then I did something naughty. I get caught. You're going to enforce this, so if I flag guarded, what type of play do we have to have? Loose ball or running play? Good, running play. We know, and we just talked about, the basic spot of enforcement on a running play is what?
Wait, what did you say?
Yeah, the basic spot. So a running play, where are we going to enforce that penalty from? It's 3 words or 4 words. End of the run. Good. So we know that you're not going to do this from the end zone, right? So this is that one exception we talked about. So you're going to bring me back to my flag, right? I cheated right here. Pick one. I cheated. I hit him, and then I did something. So we're going to go backwards. So we went up to that spot. We're like, hey, he was good right up until he did this. Now he's done something naughty. Let's back him up. Now, clearly I have not crossed this line. We can all see that, right? I didn't get there. So that's still my zone line to gain. It doesn't matter that I crossed it. That ball is going to be snapped behind it. So now, that language we saw in the previous slide, I've enforced my penalty. Now I'm setting the zone line to gain. We don't double penalize our teams in this case. So now it's whatever this information down is, 4th down, we have to get to the 20. All right, here's another example. I throw the ball, everybody's happy. We do something wrong. More things go down. So we go to that spot. We back it up a few steps. All right, we didn't get where we needed to go. So we were here. It's 4th down. We're trying to get to this spot. We didn't make it, did we? The other team gets the ball. So just think, where are we? Are we in front of or behind the line after we mark the penalty off? We're behind it. Means they didn't get there. Now, depending on what the down is what we're going to do the next few things. But just keep it simple. Go to it, mark it off, then set it. You are cooking the meal before you eat it. That penalty is what we got to cook. Once we put the ball down, now it's time to eat. We don't get to do those things first, unless, you know, that's your jam. But make sure we set it. Some special things that we have to have. So let's go back to this slide. So, live ball fouls. This is for every single one of them. Mark it off, then set your zone line to gain. We've talked about in the previous part of this presentation, roughly 80% of our fouls are live ball. So if you get this right, you are already at 80%. That's good, but it's not where we want to be. We want to be as close to 100 as we can. So if we can manage, if I just deleted all this and worked on this, this will help you get squared away. And you got to think, of those 8 fouls, most of them aren't going to involve a line to gain. So you really only have to apply this a handful of times. But just understand, enforce it, then set it. If you want to use it alphabetically, E for enforce, S for set. I don't really care. I've never used that. I just made it up. So I wish I weren't being filmed. I feel goofy now. But just enforce the foul. Am I in front of or behind the line? I'm behind it, right? That's where I've got to go. Enforce the foul. Am I in front of or behind the line? This should be easy for everybody. Am I in front of or behind this line? We're going that way. Simple. Just like you see on TV. They do something. Are they ahead of the sticks? First down, we're going that way. They do something. Are they behind the sticks? They still got to get to that front stick. Now, we don't have sticks. We use the zone lines. Same concept for us. So, we do have a couple things for this. And again, I apologize. I should have fixed these. I did not. We have what are called half the distance penalties. So, if I'm at the 4-yard line going in to score a touchdown, and these pylons are my touchdown, I'm at the 4-yard line going in. If you commit a 5-yard penalty and you mark off all 5 yards, where am I going to end up? If I'm at the 4, well, I'm going to end up in the end zone, right? Can you score a touchdown by a penalty? As far as we're concerned, the answer is no. Okay? So I clearly can't get 5 yards. So we're consistent. We say we're going half the distance. So if I have a 3-yard, time to do some math. What's 1/2 of 3? Good, 1.5. What's 1/2 of 5, Sean? Good. That's all the math you need to do. You do not need a calculator for this. So if I'm at the 4, I've got a 5-yard penalty. Half the distance from the 4 is where? Go to the 2. Pretty simple. If I'm at the 5, what's half of 5? We just covered it. You take 2.5 steps. You move me 2.5 yards. Okay? Flip it around. I'm trying to go forward, and stupid batteries.
Why did you pick up?
I don't. I have thick fingers, apparently. Just back off. So if we're going this way, we're moving out of this end zone. And I'm inside one of these zones. So if I'm inside the 10, all of my 5-yard penalties are half. So if I'm here and I commit a 5-yard penalty, 5 from 10 is pretty simple. But if I'm at the 9, you're going 4.5. If I'm at the 8, you're going 4. If I'm at the 7, you're going amazing. If I'm at the 6, if I'm at the 5, good, 4, 3, 1, half. That's a tough penalty if they're on the 1. So just kind of figure out, where are we? We're at the 7. Take 50% of that. If we're inside the 5, this is where we start to kick down from our 3. So if I have a false start, and we'll talk about the specific yardages in a bit, you just got to be able to send. If I'm going out, 10 and in, 5 and in. If I'm going in, 10 and in, 5 and in. So just kind of think, where are we? This goes back to that flow chart. Where are we? So we will have some math we have to work out. Just ask yourself the question. For me, are we going into the end zone? Yes or no? No, you're good to go. Are we going out of the end zone? Yes or no? Yes, we got to do a little extra thinking. Most of our penalties aren't going to be in this. All right, so this isn't penalty enforcement, so we're not going to talk about it. All right, you give me the third one. Now, I will tell you quickly, the number one thing that we get from officials is penalty enforcement's the hardest. I work high school football. We see high school footballs mess it up. I work in the NCAA for football. My crew messed up something 2 years ago in our first game of the season. Now, nobody knew but us, so that's good, but we still messed it up. We had 7 people who had dedicated a significant portion of their lives to advancing in football and had done some things and gotten hired and were making money to a game, and we had a crowd full of people. It was exciting, and we screwed it up. I'm going to tell you flat out, it happens. Don't hang your head, don't kick the turf, don't get upset, just fix it. And the reason we messed ours up is we didn't talk. Somebody on our crew thought they had all the information and started to act. The rest of us didn't have all the information, so we didn't know, and we have radios, and right as somebody went on the radio to ask, hey, we didn't do that, the ball got snapped. The game was a 45-point game. Nobody in the world knew but us and the guy evaluating us upstairs, so that was kind of embarrassing. But it happens. NFL officials mess up penalty enforcement. You just don't see it because they go to commercial. They walk it off, they're like, ooh, that's wrong. They get it together, and those cats are making six figures. Now, if you're a Saints fan, you clearly know they missed some stuff, but that's neither here nor there right now. But that's not penalty enforcement, that's just judgment. So don't worry about getting it right every time. You're not going to. And look, I don't know if I love you, but I feel pretty good about it. You seem like decent people. I'm going to tell you flat out, you're going to mess up. That's not going to change. If you don't mess up penalties, it's because you're not trying. If you don't mess up penalties, it's because you're not paying attention. If you don't mess up penalties, it's because you're not giving your effort. Now, please understand, I don't want you to mess up. I want you to know all of this, but it's just not realistic. You're going to fail. Just fix it. There's also why we put 2 of you out there, so you hopefully don't both fail at the same time. Or in my case, 7 of us don't fail at the same time. I also gave a team 5 down once, but that's neither here nor there. So, who hadn't? But what I'm getting at is it's hard. It sucks. And it stinks when you're in the moment and there's a sideline full of people going, what happened, what happened, what happened? Well, if you were watching the game, you'd have seen him hold. They just don't know what to do with it. So, we've talked about the all but one principle. This was our stiff the offense. So, if we have this thing for our offensive teams, where I do something wrong, okay, our loose ball, we talked about it's the previous spots, where the puck, and this is penalty enforcement 3, right?
Yes.
Okay. If it's a running play, it's the end of the run. So if I have running play, I foul, I end up here, we know this is where we theoretically are going to enforce this penalty. But because I did something naughty, this is the all but one principle. This is the stiff the offense for us. So I'm going back to that spot. These are just different ways to phrase it, but we've got to be able to have it. Why? 7 people in this room, you're not always going to use the exact same language. We've got to have some core tenets to be able to communicate with each other effectively. If the offense fails to gain advantage, we're going to stiff them. We already talked about it. I don't want to get my flag pulled. I do something. I don't want you to intercept the ball. I do something. I don't want you to score. I do something. These are all fouls that we're going to have. We're going to find the way that hurts them the most. What makes them not do this again? Spankings, timeouts, lose your favorite toy. Whatever happened to you as a kid, think about the most bad punishments you had, apply it here, and you're going to be in good shape for us. This is the flow chart that you've seen again. This is redundancy by design. I'm under no illusions that any of you are going to go home and draw this like a beautiful mind style on your whiteboard or your mirrors at home. But you've got to think about it. Because I will tell you, procedural stuff and penalty enforcement will save you. Judgment, communication, player relations, hustle, that's great. But when everyone's honest, we have to have a process. We have to have a process. We have any golf fans in here? Okay, we won't make a golf. Any NBA fans? Good God, y'all are killing my references. What do y'all do for a living? Oh, well, I was hoping for more. Hey, look, this is our free throw routine. This is our pre-shot routine on that. And it just went away, didn't it? Yeah, it did. Right. When the play is stopped, take a minute, gather yourself, figure out where we need to go. What type of play was it? Live ball, dead ball, loose ball, running play. Those types of things, and we can be able to filter through and see where we need to go. It's important that you remember this. This is why you get these. You're not going to learn penalty enforcement tonight. Look, it just is what it is. It's too much to learn in one night. It's too much. For our high school clinics, we spend about 4 sessions teaching high school officials penalty enforcement. For our 7-on-7, our fall sport, we break it up over a couple of nights. When I travel to military bases to teach this, I have 8 hours with them. I have 3 different sections of this to show them. I have an hour and a half with you. You're getting the basics. We talked about, I think it's number 2 or number 3 on the tips for officials. This is you studying. You can control this. You can't go with your friends in the backyard and simulate holding. I mean, I guess theoretically, depending on how nerdy your friends are, you can make this happen. But you can study this on your own. This isn't hard. Just sit down, look through it. These questions get answered for you. And if you can't find the answer, you need to ask one of us. But this is on you. This is important. This is the self-study. This is the part of the drive where you have to initiate something for this success story to happen. You are the fuel that's going to make this particular vehicle go. And that's important for you in penalty enforcement. Because again, the rest, you can work out all day in the fitness center to have the body to officiate. You can run and do the cardio. You can watch film like a champion to understand what these fouls look like. But again, it's just hard. You can't just mark off penalties on your way to class. It just doesn't happen. Well, I guess technically you could work on it, but you get the point. You've got to be able to put some study into this. And I'm under no illusions, look, flat out, most of us aren't going to do it because we don't want to. I don't need to do that. You will say that right up until the moment where everybody's looking at you and you mess it up. If you don't want that feeling, take some time once the night's over and look over this type of stuff. It's why it gets filmed for us to post to our website so you can go back and have a common piece to look at it, because it's hard. It is difficult. I'm not going to lie to you. It's the hardest thing we have to do as football officials is enforce the penalties because there's a lot of moving parts. But if we break those parts down into this type of flow chart, which is why I like it, it simplifies it. Otherwise, you've got all these other things going into a soup that's hard to digest. Break it down a little bit and you'll be in much better shape. The other thing we have to know for us as it relates to penalties is something we call the clean hands principle. The best example I'll have you for this is a wonderful phrase. If I'm the defense and I grab you and throw you to the ground, can we all agree that's a penalty? Good. I go up and intercept the ball and score a touchdown. Should I get to score that touchdown? Right, because I did what? What's the C word I did? Cheated. Yeah, I created contact, but by God, I cheated. Call it what it is. You know, players are like, I didn't foul. You're right, sir, you cheated. What? You cheated. You grabbed him. You didn't let it. Just keep it simple. Right? The fancy word we use for that is clean hands. If my hands are dirty, I've done something wrong. I don't get to keep that. I'm dirty. If I'm clean, though, I'm good to go. So the fancy word for this is if we have a foul, if each team fouls during a down, which is their change of team possession, the team last in possession may retain the ball. Don't worry about that. If I intercept the ball, did I do anything wrong before I did that? No. Simple. You want to keep the football? Okay, good. Now we can do some different things, and we're going to decline some stuff. But ultimately what this means for us in the over-technical piece of it is I'm the offense, and I shove you in the chest. Ball goes through my hands. He intercepts it. Has he done anything wrong? Nope, he's fine. But I did something wrong, right? We're going to go ask him, do you want to keep the football? Yes, I want to keep the football. I want to score more points. Me like you. We're going to make him decline that foul. It's that simple. Because there was a foul before the change of possession. So we're going to pretend that foul didn't happen. He's going to keep the football, first down, whatever we have to go, once we've set our zone line. So just ask yourself the question. Kind of think of it in reverse order. Did we have a foul before the change of possession? Yes. Was it by the defense? No. Do you want the football? Or the opposite. Did we have a foul before the change of possession? Yes. Was it by the defense? Yes. We're not going to let them keep the football. The offense, more than likely, is never going to say, the heck with it, we've scored enough points. Let him have a chance. Look, that's noble. That's sportsmanship. If I'm up by 60, I should tell you that. I want to be up by 66. So I want that football back. I want to just beat you into the ground. I wish that wasn't the case. I wish Twigger were here, but he would tell you, no, I want to score more on you. You know, they'll learn that way or something. Just think through it. Ask yourself, what's the best case scenario here? Does the offense want to keep the ball? Yes, they do. Does the defense want to keep the ball? Yes, they do. And then we can have some acceptance or declination. But we've got to know, if I do something dirty before I get the ball, I don't get to keep it. Again, I've stolen that football in that particular regard. Same way for the offense. I've cheated. I don't get to keep it if the defense ends up with it. Automatic first downs. We've only got a couple of fouls for us that really have this. So an automatic first down, it has to be a foul by the defense. Defense can never get a first down. Only the offense can. It's a fundamental for us. So really the only way I can have this is if Team B illegally secures their flag belt. So they tie it in a big bow tie, and they're like, look at me. All right. If we catch them, I get a fresh set of downs. Pretty simple. And you get to give that fun signal. So there's that. Loss of down, we have a few more of these for us. All of our loss of down fouls are by the offense, or the team within possession of the football. So that's our illegal forward pass. I get one of those per series. So I throw a forward pass, Dylan catches it, he's really excited, but he's like, oh, Danny's over there. He throws it, it's not Canada. We don't get to do that. So that's a foul. It's going to be a loss of down for us. You really won't ever have to worry about seeing an illegal backwards pass. The only thing you'll ever see for that is if I'm trying to stop the clock and I turn and throw it out of bounds. I have never seen it, and I've been officiating flag football since 1999. Hey. 20 years. Easy there. Where's your notebook, Blues Clues? That was late 90s too. So, the illegal backward. What'd you say?
That's Steve over there.
Steve! I've got my handy dandy clicker. So illegal backwards pass, you got to scrub this from the film, by the way. So just so we're clear on that. What's the 17-second gap? I don't want to talk about it. And then illegally secured flag belt. I'm the offense. I'm like, tie it in a knot, run, catch the ball. Look at me, I scored. He comes over to check my flag. Oh yeah, thank you too. And he's pulling my flag, try to take my flag off. It's not going. Gigantic knot. All right. I don't get that touchdown because I did what? Cheated. So we're going to enforce it from somewhere, wherever that may be. And I lose the down. Okay, I cheated so bad, you're going to take the down away from me. Okay, what hurts me the most? Losing the down. This is some complicated verbiage, so let's just focus on the simplicity of it. If I'm the team that scores, so I score a touchdown, but I've done something wrong, I don't get to keep it. So what this says is there's a foul by the scoring team during a down which results in a touchdown. The acceptance of the penalty nullifies the score. Makes sense. I shove you, catch the ball, and score. I don't get to keep that touchdown. Touchdown's gone. That's simply what it means. The exception to this is, looking at me, Swan. I go up, catch the football, score a touchdown. Have I done anything wrong yet? Spin the ball in your face. Clearly I've done something wrong now, right? Did that happen before or after the touchdown? I get to keep my touchdown. So it goes back to those common questions. When did the foul occur? If the play's already over, it's a what type of foul? Dead ball. So just kind of ask yourself what happened. Yes? We'll talk about it later. All right, the other type. If the opponent of the scoring team commits a foul during a down, and there's not a change of possession, meaning there's no interceptions, no recovered, anything like that. So you try to stop me from grabbing the pass, catching the pass, you grab me, you interfere with me. I go up and catch the touchdown. I haven't done anything wrong, right? I not only get to keep my touchdown, I get to enforce your penalty. You were naughty. You don't get to do that. So that's all this means, is I scored and didn't do anything wrong, you did. So my touchdown gets to stay, and we have some options of where we're going to enforce this penalty. And that option is I can do it from my try for point, so I can go from some value from the 3, the 10, or the 20. Or if I don't need the points, but I want to back you up, I get to go from where you snap the ball. So the term we use is it can be put on the try or the succeeding spot. We talked about succeeding is a fancy word for what? Next. So I score a touchdown, you cheat, I'm going to have options of where I want to be able to put that on you. I get to pick your punishment. I cheat, then score, I don't get to keep my points. Now theoretically, the defense can be, hey, we don't want to accept that penalty. That's fine. If they decline that foul, clearly I scored a touchdown. The only time you'll really see this is if I'm up 1 point and time's running down, I score, but I cheated to do it, and you need the ball to score. You may let me have those points because you want the ball back. So you've just got to think a little bit about game situation. So just understand, knowing the time, knowing the score, if there's only 12 seconds left in the game, odds are I'm not going to intercept a pass. But I can absolutely do something offensively with 12 seconds left in that game. So don't get in a rush. I talked to you about this at the beginning of penalty enforcement. The first thing I led into was all the eyes are on us, and instead of speeding up, we need to do what? 2 words. What? Slow down. Slow down. Ask ourselves, what's the score? What's the time? What do we need to do here? Don't just skip it. Because if we skip it, we haven't done our job for the players. I didn't know what that was. I thought you were trying to tell me you needed to say something.
No, you're good.
If we have a foul prior to a try, so I score my touchdown, this is the one we just gave, I score, then I'm like, whee, throw the ball in your face. So this is before our try for points, after the touchdown, but before anything else happens. We have to be able to put it at that next spot. So we've got some options for us there. So you can either make me go for a further distance back on my try, or you get free yardage. So now the defense has some options. Touchdown's over with, it's happened. You can choose to back me up from the 3, the 10, or the 20 for my try for point, or I can get free yardage. It all depends on where you are in the game for what I'm looking for. Most of the time, our defense, it's pretty easy to score in flag football, at least 4-on-4. If I'm the defense, I'm always going to want a shorter yardage to gain. So I'll take over possession either 1st and 10 or 1st and 5. I want 1st and 5. I'd rather have 4 downs to get 5 yards than 4 downs to get 10. Because odds are you're going to score from the 8 or wherever the heck it may be anyway. So I'll deal with that, but I'd rather have a shorter distance. It's a lot easier for me to run plays designed to get yardage than it is to keep you from getting yardage. Just math for me. It's simple. But ask them, hey, do you want 1st and short or do you want them to have longer to go? Simplify the language. You've got the technical language. This is great. You'll learn this through study because you just can't learn it in one night. But to go communicate that to the team, you want to have a short 1st down, or do you want them to have further back to go? He may ask you, what do you mean? You can have 1st and 5, or they can try from, and you have to start giving them options. Odds are we'll have a short one. Just think through, again, keep it simple. Don't use football terms with that player because no one talks like that. It just doesn't happen. If it happens during the try for point, it's like a touchdown. So it goes back, so just think of our tries as our touchdown. If the team on offense fouls, and the penalty is accepted, they don't get that. I shove you, catch it, my extra point's no good. I don't get to keep that. And the same way happens for our defense on the other side. A few special things for us. If I shove you in the chest and then he comes over and tackles me, we have each committed a foul. The only option we have is to replay that. We don't have anything else to do. So we're going to have to replay that. So I grab you, you grab me, we both fall to the ground in a little farm boy tussle. We've both committed a foul there. Just replay that down and we'll be in good shape. So if both teams commit live ball foul, there's all these other things. There's no change of possession. We're going to replay the down. If there's a change of possession, really getting on me. If there's a change of possession, will you stop scrunching that? Sorry. If there's a change of possession and the team in final, so I shove you, intercept it, then something happens, we've already talked about what happens there. I cheated. I don't get to keep that football. So we've already covered that one. And then there's a change of team possession and the team last in possession. So I go, you hold me, I break out, I intercept it, I haven't done anything wrong, I'm going to want that football. Multiple live ball fouls. So if a team does 2 things wrong, we only let one of those penalties happen. So I shove you to go catch the ball, and then I flag guard. We don't enforce both of those. We're going to pick the one that hurts the offense the most. And if I'm pass interfering, that's a what type of play? Loose ball or running play?
Loose ball.
Good. Which we know loose ball is enforced from where?
The previous spot.
That's a bigger yardage than if we do it from here, more than likely. There's sometimes if it's really short, it may not. So just think, we're going to pick the one, we're going to let the defense have the best option. Yeah, you can enforce it from way back there or all the way up here. Again, keep it simple for them. How you want to back them up, or do you want them to get all this, then back them up? Oh, back them up. They're going to want to go back there. So just kind of keep it simple in your language for them. So we never have double. The exception is dead ball fouls. Play's over with. Dylan, you're terrible. Well, you're terrible too, Sean. We're going to get both of those now. And if I decide to do 2 types of dumb during a dead ball foul, those are going to add up. So just kind of keep those separate. It's where we've got to know the when that happened. So not just what, but the when. It goes back to the fundamentals of our 4 W's to know. And those are done in order of occurrence. If I foul dead ball, so Sean and I shove Sean, then Sean shoves me, those penalties, all we're doing is going one way and back the other, those are gone. Okay, those offset each other. Because that's a foul, one by me, one by him, team A, team B. We don't enforce both of those are gone. Yeah?
We should write those down though.
Yeah, they're still categorized as unsportsmanlike. We can talk about from a game administration piece. The last thing I have for penalties, close that out, is, you can pull this, yeah, I'm not going to go through them just from a time perspective, but I want to show them. All right, so what I want you to do is this is some homework. And because we only have 90 minutes to do penalty enforcement, and it's a lot to have to digest, we're not going to cram this down your throats because you just won't get it all, and that's okay. You're going to get this. You're going to get these, and it's homework. So all of these plays are written for you to be able to put into play what we've shown you tonight. And you'll get all these PowerPoints. Second down, 40-yard line to gain. So we tell you what down, what down, where we're going, what's happening during an incomplete pass. During an incomplete pass. So if it's during an incomplete pass, what type of play is it? Loose ball or running? If it's during an incomplete pass, loose ball, B commits pass interference. How are you going to enforce this penalty? Where will the ball next be snapped and what's the down and distance? Just like you'll be able to do these just like you're on a field. You'll be able to understand what that is if you go use these other resources. There's nothing in here. Now the answers aren't in here, I'll tell you flat out. So this is the homework part of it. If you do the homework, you'll get these answers right. Now the hard part is math. Sometimes you'll get that wrong. But be able to go through these, and Danny can talk about them a little bit later. But there's 10 of them. They won't take you long, and none of them are designed to trick you. But these are plays that happen on our campus. So an example, oh my God. So anyway, the key thing I want you to think about for penalty enforcement, the key takeaways: slow down. Talk to each other. No one person is responsible for penalty enforcement. If we have 2 officials on the field or 3 officials on the field, all 3 of you are responsible for it. Look, you did flag football, right? And did you do 4-on-4 with us last year? And you did it with us.
I did
7, yeah. So we've got some great resources in the room, and you did too, right? Okay. So work with me. They're not know-it-alls, and I mean that with love. This is the second time they've heard this, which is one more than everybody else. It's not that much more. We've got to work together on this. I mess up penalties. It happens. My high school crews, my college crews, we get together, we work this out. It's no different for this level. If you take the extra time to talk, we can always put time back on the clock. What we can't do is 2 plays later fix a screw up. Take the time to get it right. The only hard part about penalty enforcement is you doing the work before the game happens. So spend a little time doing that. It's no different than studying for a class, studying for a driver's test, trying to get bigger, trying to eat better, trying to do something else. You've got to put the work into it. Because again, we could spend the next 6 weeks talking penalty enforcement. Unless you try, me up here talking about it doesn't solve the problem. So you've got to take a little ownership of it. So if you have questions, ask. If you don't have questions, that's a problem. Because I ask questions about penalty enforcement. I have a text message thread on my phone with my college crew where we're asking each other a question a day. Yes, we're nerds, but it's how we get better. Because it's not fun, but you've got to put that work in. So let me get this off, and we'll go from there.